Well, if that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. Let me tell you something. We saw this last week. We want to show it to you again because its creator, Sean O'Shea, is in the house. Take a look.
See if this reminds you of anyone you know. You feel in awe when you see the beauty of a bright, beautiful sunset, or hear the cry of a newborn baby, and you know there's someone or something greater than us who must have had a hand in creating that. You believe in a higher power, yet religion hasn't necessarily been a positive experience for you. Well, you've described a lot of us in a spiritual community called unity. We believe there are many paths to God. If you found and believe in one that works for you, well, we celebrate with and for you. If you not only haven't found that path, but you haven't even found the forest, we celebrate equally with and for you. We enjoy thought-provoking messages and discussions. We play and sing a great variety of inspiring music, and above all, we welcome all. Come as you are, because you are a beloved child of God, as is each of us. Sit in the back and observe, or jump right in and take part in things. Come get a big bear hug, or settle for a handshake or a high five if you prefer. We'll meet you where you are spiritually, and we'll appreciate who you are, here and now. No matter what you've been through, no matter who you love, no matter the color of your skin or digits in your bank account, you are loved, appreciated, and celebrated, and we can't wait to meet you.
Here we go.
Music turns me on, keeps me singing like sweet songs. Music turns me on, keeps me singing like sweet songs. Music turns me on, keeps me singing like sweet songs. Music turns me on, keeps me singing like sweet songs. Music turns me on, keeps me singing like sweet songs. Music turns me on, keeps me singing like sweet songs. Turn up the music, turn up the music, turn up the music of your life. Turn up the music, turn up the music, turn up the music of your life. Wake up every morning, live life out loud. Be the star that you are, high above the clouds. Turn up the music, turn up the music, turn up the music of your life. Turn up the music, turn up the music, turn up the music of your life. Rise to every occasion, go for the goal. Take a chance, share a dance, be brave and be bold. Turn up the music, turn up the music, turn up the music of your life. Turn up the music, turn up the music, turn up the music of your life. Turn up the music of your life.
Good morning, everybody. Let me ask, are there any native Floridians in the house today? No, I didn't think so. It's all the Midwest transplants who made it out through this snowstorm. The first great blizzard of 2019. All the Floridians are at Kroger. We are so glad that you are here. We know that you're here by divine appointment. We got a great service happening today. We've got fantastic music by Deborah Bishop, who's here with us. We have the youth are going to participate in our service today. It's Multi-Gen Sunday. We just got all kinds of things. Hey, if you sit still long enough, we'll give you something to read and put you up here on stage today because it's that kind of a day. Just a couple of quick announcements. This Tuesday, we've got a couple of things going on. Tuesday at 7, we have Reiki with Bonnie Hassan. It's called Step Into Your Power Zone. And then also at 7 on Tuesday, the third class in a 5-week program, Beliefs 101 with Becky Astorita. I've heard some really great things about what's happening in that class, so you might want to come out and join them if you feel so inclined. And then, of course, this Thursday, January 24th, we have a mediumship and intuitive development circle with Susie Wright at 7 p.m. And Friday night, the Healing Arts Ministry is having a gathering, and they wanted me to announce it to you. It's at 7 in the Namaste Cafe. It's open to all who are interested in the healing arts ministry. They're the folks who've been doing all sorts of exciting things lately, like our Reiki clinic, and they've just been really, really energized and amazing. So if you want to join that ministry or be a part of what they're doing, then come on out Friday night. Then next Sunday afternoon at 1:30, Reiki and Restorative Yoga for Empaths with Becky Astorita. Finally, we've had this penny campaign going on, Prosper the Penny Bunny. I don't know what the kind of animal that is. All I know is this. Prosper wants us to have a new heating and air conditioning unit. That's all I know. So if you would like to participate in that way, there's a bucket right back there on that table. There's a bucket back there by the front table. Just any loose pocket change or folding money, we will take that. I'll tell you what, if you're here for the first time, first off, thank you for not being a Floridian and coming on out. If you're here for the first time, we have a new member table back there. We'd love to get to know you a little bit and let us know who you are. All right, let's stand up and sing again, shall we? Let's get the energy flowing. Y'all sound pretty good for a bunch of Midwest transplants. Couple more quick announcements. First off, ongoing, of course, our Wednesday classes. Wednesday at 11:30 is Lunch Bunch in the Namaste Cafe, if you have the opportunity in the middle of the day to come out and join them. And then Wednesday night, we are in the middle of probably our third class meeting for the Untethered Soul. If you haven't come to the first two, you need to come to this one. Let me tell you, this has been an amazing class. If you really, really, really want to glimpse the top of the mountain, I would recommend you be here on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Do it. Be.
Good morning. It's wonderful to see so many people here on a cold, dark day. I am a transplant from the East Coast, the Midwest, and the West Coast. And here I am. Not at Kroger. So, today's sacred reading. Everything matters. Everything I do, say, and feel affects everything else. This everything is a prelude, a stepping stone, a promise of more to come. And so, The only thing I need to continue to move forward in my life is courage to search for truth in each and every moment. The affirmation: I have the faith to continue my journey towards truth. Say it with me. I have the faith to continue my journey towards truth. Truth, like knowledge, is very difficult to define. As soon as I think I have pinned down my truth, a new experience, a new piece of information, a new idea seems to shift the very foundation of what I thought I believed. Yet, I seem to contend with truth claims on a daily basis. Maybe I'm deeply worried about politics. Perhaps I care about whether I should eat meat or support goods produced by some large corporation. Maybe I want to know if God exists, and if so, which one? By what name shall I call thee? Perhaps I am simply wanting to know whether I can count on the persons I have always considered to be my friends. Maybe I am deciding what and whom to invest my time and relationships on. Whatever I'm focusing on comes from a need inside myself to know what is true and to make the right decision in this now moment. And so, I affirm again that I believe when I ask, it will be given to me. When I seek, I will find. When I knock, the door will be opened unto me. I have the faith to continue my journey towards the truth.
And so I ask that you settle into your seats and focus on your breath. And anything that you might have brought in with you today that you're willing to let go of in this now moment, exhale and let it go. I have the faith to continue my journey towards truth. I believe that I can go on this journey. And I believe that I can find the truth for my life. Because I know that I have been told that when I ask, it will be given to me. When I seek the truth, I will find it. And when I knock on the door, it will open for me. And so in this now moment, I drop those 18 inches to my heart space, knowing that that is where my truth resides. And so I ask, and I seek, and I knock in the silence. In the silence. Everything I do, everything I think and say and feel matters. Whatever I am focusing on in this now moment leads me to the truth that is inside me. And in this now moment, I am aware even more of the need to let go. To let go of anything that I think I need to hold on to, so that the truth can surface. I surrender all.
I surrender all to you. Take my heart and my soul too. I know you hear each time I call. I surrender all. I surrendered everything. All I am to you I bring. With gratitude on you I call. I surrender all. I surrender all. I surrender all to you. Take my heart and my soul too. I know you hear each time I call. I surrender all. I surrender everything. All I am to you I bring. With gratitude on you I call. I surrender all. I surrender all.
Hi, everybody. That was so beautiful, was it not? You guys are amazing. Truly. Never let it be said I don't have regret. This life has had its ups and downs, and I won't deny you can rely with every step I take, I try to leave behind sacred ground. And I've heard a few, haven't you? I hope they forgive me in time. Born innocent, broken in two, before I even knew my own mind. But everybody comes from somewhere, grows up doing what they're told. Everybody comes from somewhere, but it's time to break the mold. No more body, no more soul. No, I'm freeing my soul. I'm letting go. Someday there might be some good left by me. Someone might say I knew her when, as long as I stay true in my way, well, that'll be life well spent. Letting myself feel, picking up the pieces and carrying on, a little wiser, a little lighter, going, gone. But everybody comes from somewhere, grows up believing everything they're told. Everybody comes from somewhere, but it's time to break the mold. No more body, no more soul. No, I'm freeing my soul. I'm letting go. I'm letting go. Letting myself heal, or letting myself feel, picking up the pieces and carrying on, a little wiser, a little lighter, going, and gone. Everybody comes from somewhere, grows up doing what they're told. Everybody comes from somewhere, but it's time to break the mold. No more body, no more soul. No, I'm freeing my soul. I'm letting go. I'm stress and the anger and the pain and the shame and the blame and the guilt and the jealousy. I'm freeing, freeing my soul. Oh, I'm letting go. Someday there might be some good left by me, and someone might say I knew her when.
Wow. Deborah, that's just amazing. She actually told me a secret this morning. She's working on an album. So I hope when she gets it completed, she'll do something here with it. So I think you all would agree. So tell her you would agree. Everybody comes from somewhere. We decided you all are not from Nashville because you're out here in the snow and ice, right? Grows up doing or believing what they're told. So before I get started this morning, I do some letting you talk together. Is there anything left in your beingness that you were told to believe that you're still struggling letting it go? Talk to somebody. So look at this clever picture that Crystal came up with. The search for truth. Anybody in here like my mom and search all the time for information about lots of stuff out there? And I try to explain to this almost 86-year-old, don't believe everything you find on the internet. Because it might not really be true. So how do we know? How do we know what's true? I mean, we've spent, as a country, 2 years trying to figure out who to believe and who to not believe. Yeah, I've seen some people do reset breaths just then. It's like, how do we make the determination what to believe? Hear me, I'm not going to give you the answers today. I'm just going to stir the pot and let you realize that that's important for you as a human being to know what you believe is true and to be okay. Here's the piece. Because some of you, how many of you were in the organic community process last Sunday morning, last Sunday afternoon? How many of you are honest you heard something you didn't necessarily agree with? Yeah? Which is the next process for our leadership. Because if we can't, remember I say this almost every Sunday, if we can't do it in here, how do we think we're going to ever do it in our city, in our state, in the country? We have to be willing to listen to each other. And in that process, glean what's true for me and know that it's okay if Sherry and I don't agree. It's okay. But how many of you were taught that you had to believe everything you were told and whatever your mama and daddy told you was what you had to believe? And when somebody brought in something else that was different than that, and then we lay religion on top of that, which was in my house, which meant that if you did believe something your mama and daddy didn't tell you, you were going to hell. Just that little something, something. Yeah. Honor your father and mother. Always. Even when you began to get older and think, not sure about that. Not really sure that that's true. So we're in the process of remembering, waking up, and becoming who we're here to be. That all sounds really exciting, doesn't it? Until you get into the process and realize there's some work involved. Because all of us have layered up with all kinds of stuff that we have to try to let go. Her song she was singing about. So, for the next 7 months, we're going to be discussing some basic universal principles. We started with this one last Sunday. Consciousness is potential set in motion through the organic process of evolution. We've been attempting for the last year and a half to be an organic community, and it's hard. Right, Pam? If you were here last Sunday and at the end of our talks, Pam admitted, this was hard for me. To hear something that's different than what I've been told or what I believe, and I got to take it in and listen and actually write it down on a piece of paper to take to the leadership. And I don't believe this. I don't want to do this. You ever tried to write something on a piece of paper you didn't want to? It is an organic process that you have gone through to get to where you are today. And the reason I say that is everybody's not the same. What Deb has been through till she got here today is different than what I've been through, or what Shell or Scott have been through, or what our youth have been through. And it's all a process of whatever you stepped into, or what your parents drug you into, or what a religion drug you through, right? And at some point in time, you have to go, what pieces and parts of this do I even believe? And what pieces and parts am I willing to let go of? Because one of the great universal principles that I'm not going to put up there in the next 7 months is that the universe abhors a vacuum. So once you let something go, you create room for something new. I will also throw a terminology out there that I used with one person on Wednesday night, not the whole group, but I'm going to throw it out here this morning. When you try to shove a new belief system on top of an old one and there is conflict, it sets up chemicalization in your body. Some of us have experienced that. It makes you sick. So, I say all that to say this journey we're taking this year, do it with care. Do the pieces and parts that work for you. Don't worry if somebody like Colleen says, oh, you must do this. And Colleen is somebody that I would listen to. But the bottom line is, if my soul is going, pay attention. Does that make sense? Because you are on your own organic process, whatever that looks like. Organic takes into consideration everything encountered. Everything encountered. I don't know how to be any clearer than that. How many of you like to not pay attention to certain things because they bother you? So have you ever taken time in your life to figure out why they bother you? Or do you just run away and hide? And I've been guilty of that in my life. It's like, I don't like this, so I'm going to run away and hide. Guess what? It finds you. Wherever you go, it shows up again. How many of you have ever left a job to go to another job to find out it's worse than the one you left? Yeah. Kids, we're sorry we're giving you a big crash course in life this morning. You know, how many of you have thought, oh, I can't wait to get through this year because this teacher drives me insane. To get to the next year and have a teacher that is worse, more insane. Yes. So what is this all about for us? Organic takes into consideration everything encountered, and I need to pay attention to everything. Do you remember what B read in the beginning? Everything matters. Everything I do, say, and feel affects everything else. This everything is a prelude, a stepping stone, a promise of more to come. I think what makes us afraid is we think we're going to be stuck with that teacher or that job for the next 50 years. But we can always make a choice. I talk with lots of people over the weeks, and a lot of times somebody will say, but I have to do that job. I'm like, you do? Huh? Have to? Have to. Oh, yes, because I have bills to pay. Are there any other jobs in the world? Any others? Then they look at me like I'm crazy. There is no have-tos. Turn and say that to somebody beside you. There is no have-tos. How many of you had a mother or a father that told you you had to do something? You grew up believing there were have-tos. Do you understand? Journey's raising her hand. Woo-hoo. That'll be a conversation at home, won't it, Mom? Yeah, thanks. Oh, hey. Okay, yes. Mom and Dad, there are no have-tos. My own son used this all to me, against us. Because when I used to try to send Austin to his room when he was about y'all's age, he would look at me and say, you cannot send God to his room. Because in youth ministry, we had explained to him over and over and over, you are the expression of God. You are God. And so when we tried to send him to his room, he'd say, you can't do that. I'm God. You can't send God to his room. It's like, all righty. But Miss Judy could. And so I want somebody to read from where it says, and so. Somebody read it very loud so everybody can hear that.
And so the only thing I need to continue to move forward in my life is courage to search for truth in each and every moment.
Courage to search for truth in each and every moment. It didn't say every once in a while. And I think that's the piece we have to be mindful of. Every moment there is something. There's a present in every moment. Are you present enough to get it? I have the faith to continue my journey towards truth was our affirmation this morning. Say that again with me. I have the faith to continue my journey towards truth. So, know that this morning there's going to be lots of different people that are going to come to the stage at different times. The youth are going to be up here also. Because I didn't want this to just be me talking about the journey to truth. And the first step is going to be about remembering.
Where did you come from, baby dear?
Out of the everywhere into here.
Where did you get those eyes of blue?
Out of the sky as I came through.
What makes the light in them sparkle and spin?
Some of the starry spikes that were left in.
Where did you get that little tear?
I found it waiting when I got here.
What makes your forehead so smooth and high?
A soft hand stroked it as I went by.
What makes your cheek like a warm white rose?
I saw something better than anyone knows.
Whence that three-cornered smile of bliss?
3 angels gave me at once a kiss.
Where did you get this pearly ear?
God spoke, and it came out to hear.
Where did you get those arms and hands?
Love made itself into bonds and bands.
Feet? Whence did you come, you darling things?
From the same box as the cherub's wings.
How did they all just come to be you?
God thought about me, and so I grew.
But how did you come to us, you dear?
God thought about you, and so I am here.
What does it take us to remember who we are? I just heard a phew. What does it take us as adults to remember who we are? Have a little conversation for a minute. What does it take you to remember who you are? Do you realize that you are children of the light? Do you always shine? So, what is it that makes us remember, and what is it that seems to make us forget? And so, the next thing that you all are going to encounter is the rest of our youth that are here, and see if any of this is familiar to you. Think you can reach out?
Once upon a time, 4 travelers from different lands met near a mountain. The travelers had been told that if they climbed the mountain, they would find God at the top. Around the bottom of the mountain were many paths to choose from. The travelers had each been told beforehand which of the paths to take. They also had been told that only that path would bring them to God. The travelers met each other at the bottom of the mountain and told each other of their search for God.
I am trying to find God. I've been told that out of all these paths, the right path to take is that one, the flowery meadow path. I've been told that if I follow it, at the top I will find God, the great mother of all.
That's interesting, because I've been told that the path to take is that steep, rocky mountain path over there, and that if I take it, I will find God, the great Father in heaven.
Strange. Seems we have all been told to follow different paths. I was told that the right path is the deep river valley path, and if I follow it, at the top I'll find God, the great spirit in all things.
Yes, this is strange. I have been told to follow yet a different path. My path is the deep forest path. And I was told, if I follow it, at the top I will find God, the great peaceful silence.
The travelers were surprised to hear about the other paths because they were sure the path they had been told to follow was the only right one. They even tried to convince the others to follow their chosen path.
I'm sure my way is the right one.
Change your mind. Come my way.
Don't you think it would be best to come with me?
You ought to take the deep forest path.
But none would change. Each was sure that their way was the right way. So, bidding each other goodbye, they began their journeys to the top. As they started out, each was singing a song of praise to God. They could hear each other's songs in the distance, and they thought the other songs sounded strange. But off they went on their chosen paths. They soon were traveling alone and could no longer hear the other ones. Sometimes following the path was easy, and sometimes it was hard. Finally, each traveler neared the top of the mountain. They began to hear the other travelers' songs once again, but now they realized how beautiful their songs sounded, even though they were different and not of their own. All four came to the top within minutes of each other. They stopped and eagerly looked around.
O great mother of all, I have found you.
O great Father in heaven, I have found you.
O great spirit in all things, I have found you.
O great peaceful silence, I have found you.
But all of them were seeing and calling out to the same God. Then they realized that they had all been searching for the same thing, though each had called it by a different name and each had taken a different path. At this moment, they high-fived each other and announced, "We are
We're
all
connected.
We are all one.
So is there common ground in all of our searches? I would imagine if you talk to someone in this room, the person sitting beside you or someone else, you would know that you have searched different ways for the truth. But what are we really searching for? From the mouth of babes. What are we really searching for? Deb, say that loudly. Ourselves. Can you understand that? Because we're not searching for something out there, even though we think we are. And what many of us do is we go down so many different paths. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. But one of the things I will share with you that has become very obvious to me is that you have to choose a path and walk it and go deep on that path. And what we as human beings want to do is we want to run over here and do Buddhism and run over here and do Hinduism and run over here and do unity and run back over here and do this. And then we're just tired. And I'm not saying don't take a class in different types of religions and understand. But at some point in time, pick a path. And it doesn't matter if it's unity or Buddhism or Hinduism or Christianity, but pick a path and go deep. Because until you pick a path and go deep, you're not going to find it. How will you know when you found it? How will you know when you found it? How do you know when you find anything you're looking for? It makes you happy. That's what I see coming back from some of you. If what you are doing and searching, the path that you are searching on, is not making you happy, you want to know something? It ain't your path. If it's hard, it ain't your path. If it makes you happy, if it makes you joyous, if it makes you sing, if it makes you want to get up in the morning, it's your path. If not, woo, find another one. Yes, breathe. So what you saw the children displaying for us this morning is one of the ways many of us have searched for truth. We've searched for God out there somewhere. And we've even complained and argued, not necessarily you all, but have you not noticed out in the world what's going on? About who God is or what God is or what we call God or don't call God? That's very interesting, isn't it? You heard Mother Earth, you heard Father in Heaven, you heard Spirit of all, you heard Presence within. You might hear many different terminologies. Those of you that are taking the Untethered Soul, the first week of class was all about what do I call God? Because that depends on me finding me. If I give God a name that I cannot vibrate with and I cannot live with, then I don't really know God. Does that make sense? It's got to be a presence, a vibration, a something that I can relate to before I'm even going to understand what it is. Whoops. So there's many different ways that people have searched for God here on our planet. I have 2 short videos that I want you to watch for a minute. Here's one.
Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace whenever lark or even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
Before Crystal plays the next one, there are some people that search for God in the heavens. I had to add this short video because this video I remember vividly as a child. It came out in 1968. And it was the Apollo space mission, and it was the Christmas message to the United States of America. So pay attention.
Now approaching lunar sunrise, and for all the people back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness.
And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament, from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day.
God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And from the crew of Apollo 8, we close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on the good earth.
So, to the person sitting close to you, can we find God in the heavens? Talk for a minute. So, quite interestingly, in the realm of Christianity, people always talk about our Father in heaven. But in one of the chapters of Psalms 139, it talks about that there is nowhere that we can go that God is not there, even in the depths of the sea. So, who and what is God to you, and what is this truth that we're talking about? And so on Wednesday night, we've been forging through a book by Michael Singer called The Untethered Soul. I don't always say that I think people need to read a book, but I think this is one that if you have not read, you need to read it. Because it's mind-blowing, and it helps you really understand yourself as a person better, because the first 7 chapters just talk about the endless mind chatter that goes on all day long, every day inside your head. And who is that that's talking? You ever wondered? You ever wondered who that is? And if you're really supposed to listen to that person? Do they really have the truth? Maybe, maybe not. And has that person, that voice, ever said something to you that upset you? And then it really begins to make you wonder, who is that person? Is that my mother in there talking to me? what would it really be like to be untethered? To not believe that there was something that you had to believe in, but just to have a wide open berth to find it yourself. What would that be like?
As I sit here and look around at all there is outside, there goes on inside my little head a stream of thoughts which won't reside. They used to be so plentiful that I thought they were me, but now that I've slowed them down a bit, my higher self I can more clearly see. They say from fish to fowl to ape is how we all came, but there's one thing that they never tell. Where do all of our thoughts come from?
Can you feel what it would be like to be that horse? Free on the ocean's edge and just to run? Untethered. Not bound by a certain belief system of what you thought you had to believe, or you had to do, or you had to be. There are some of us, I see Judy Bernard's back there, that have delved into sound and vibrational energy and understand that that is a part of all of what we are. And whatever it is that I'm vibrating in a certain moment is going to attract the law of attraction, certain things to me, certain situations. And then I can begin to look at my own personal vibration and go, is this really what I want to come to me or not? But what does that say about my truth? What does that say about who I am? That's just a tool that we use. So how do we begin to sift through all this information and find our own truth? Some of you that read Denise's Daring Daydreams, I went back and got a book that Michael Singer wrote in 1974. And it is not like The Untethered Soul. It's like a textbook. And it is all about the ways that we find truth. Whether we find it psychologically, or we find it academically, or we find it religiously. Because remember, who remembers what I said that's very, very important in this lesson? Choose a what? Choose a path. So do you know what path you've chosen? Somebody sucked all the air out of the room. Because again, it doesn't matter. But it matters that you choose a path and go deep. Maybe your path is psychology. I've said this before, but quite interestingly, when Martha Creek was here, I got some feedback from some of the leadership, and one of them was, we get tired of you talking about psychology all the time. The Bible is the biggest psychology book there is in the world. Any sacred text of any kind is really, when you get down to the bottom denominator, it's psychology. And psychology is about searching for yourself. So what path do you choose? Do you choose religion? Do you choose a spiritual practice? Do you choose history? Do you choose poetry? Because you've got a little smattering of that this morning too. Do you choose music? Do you choose art? Do you choose dance? What do you choose? What is the path that you've been searching for that would work for you? Whoops. There's one more video. And before she starts playing this, know that this amazing individual made her transition this week. And quite interestingly, we read a poem of hers on Wednesday night. And then on Thursday, she was gone. But this is another one of her poems that is one of my favorites, and it's called The Journey.
The Journey by Mary Oliver. One day, you finally knew what you had to do, and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice. Though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried. But you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations. Though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save.
Do you understand why this is so important? It's not about who can learn the most and who gets the most degrees and who reads the most books. It's about you finding you. It's quite simple. And the interesting thing is you were never lost. You've always been right there. And if you remember in the beginning, we talked about being birthed here and remembering. And then it doesn't take us long through the remembering to understand that we've got to choose a path and wake up. Because that's part of the organic process. It's like, who am I and why am I here and what's going on? And then at some point in time, we can become who we are here to be.
I am a light worker. My mission is to be the light. My mission is not to make you comfortable, to make you like me, or to make you thank me. My mission is to be the light in places and spaces that are dark. My mission is to share so much light with you that you remember that you are light too. Then and only then will you be encouraged to shine your own light. You may not like me or thank me, or maybe you will, and this fact is not significant. The most important thing for me to remember is I am a light worker, and my mission is to be the light.
Can you say that with me? I am a light worker, and my mission is to be the light. Again, I am a light worker, and my mission is to be the light. It is our prayer that we may be children of light, the kind of people whose coming and ministry the world is waiting for. Namaste.
So it's brand new, but it is my ode to the prayer of St. Francis as well. And I'm still like sitting here floating in the message. Thank you so much.
Across the mountaintops, let love bless this kingdom, let love reign. Oh, let peace fill the valley, let peace echo across the mountaintop, let peace bless this kingdom, let peace reign. Where there is darkness, where there's injustice, let there be righteousness. Where there is fear, let courage, compassion be. And every morning let me remember it all starts with me. Oh, let love fill the valley, let love echo across the mountaintop, let love bless this kingdom, let love reign. Oh, let peace fill the valley, let peace echo across the mountaintop, let peace bless this kingdom, let peace reign. Where there is hatred, begins with me. Oh, oh, let love fill the valley, let love echo across the mountaintops, let love bless this kingdom, let love reign. Oh, let peace fill all starts with me.
That was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. I think one of my favorite things to come out of last week's time together afterwards was someone who referred to the affirmations as their fortune cookie. So you'll want to come forward and take your fortune cookie and put your tithes, gifts, and offerings into the crystal bowl. Take those gifts and offerings in your hand, please, and say the offering affirmation along with me. I live in the midst of infinite abundance. I give freely and fearlessly to life, and life gives back to me. Join us on the sacred walk of abundance.
Many voices, one spirit, a new day is dawning. Can you feel it? Different choices we make, different roads we may take. We are many voices, one spirit, singing my song until the whole world hears it. Songs of peace and praise, songs of hope and faith, finding our common ground. We'll let the light shine through. We are many voices, one spirit, singing my song until the whole world hears it. Songs of peace and praise, songs of hope and faith, songs of love for all the human race. One spirit.
So we open our hands and our hearts and our minds. And at first we bless these tithes and offerings that have been given from that space of love within each person. And we know that these tithes and offerings will move through this ministry and back out into the world to bless others. we know that today each of us are walking our own individual journeys, and we are many voices and one spirit. And so as we continue to walk this journey of organic community, may we come together willing to listen and willing to be open and to be moved. And so it is. Amen.
We are a little bit small, but we are mighty this morning, and there's no reason why Love Train shouldn't rock just as hard as it does every Sunday morning. We're actually working on choreography, so you'll want to stay for that. Together now, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Test, test, test. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train. People all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train. On the next stop that we make, it's gonna be England. And tell all the folks in Russia, Saudi and China too. Hey, don't miss this train at the station, 'cause you know why? We gotta let it ride, 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 ride all through. Well, people all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train. Hey, people all over the world join hands, start a love train, a love train, and tell all the brothers over in Africa. Tell all the folks in Egypt and Israel too.